Let's be real here. Life feels way harder for Gen Z than anyone wants to admit. And I'm not just talking about school or grades or even like dating relationships. That's for an entirely different story. But I'm talking about the whole environment that we're growing up in. Think about it. Housing's insanely expensive. Renting an apartment in a decent area costs more than some people make in a month. Buying a house, forget it. Prices are sky high, inventory is low, and interest rates are way higher than they were for older generations. Owning a home feels like a pipe dream for most of us. Then there's the job market. Wages are barely keeping up with inflation. Even if you're making 20 bucks an hour, simple bag of Doritos, 7, 8 bucks. Things that we took for granted in the past, cheap snacks, gas under $2, even just affordable gadgets. Like I remember my first iPhone was $400. A new iPhone today is $2,000. Like everything just costs so much more. And companies are shrinking portions on food, they're raising prices, they're doing anything that they can to offset their costs, increase their margins, and there's nothing that we could do about it. And that small stuff just adds up and it makes life feel tight all the time. And, don't even get me started on college debt. Most of us are starting at student loans before we even start our real adult lives. That's money that you can't invest, can't save, or take risks with. By the time that some of us are in our mid 20s, we've already spent a huge chunk of our life and financial potential just trying to break even. I was fortunate in the position where I started a business early because I saw the shit show that was happening in the US and I positioned myself. I didn't ask my parents for money. I was fortunate to pay for my own college tuition, housing, everything like that. And, I graduated debt free, but I know most people, they don't plan ahead like that and they live day by day, month by month. They can't expand and look out 5 years from now. So yeah, there's just so many issues going on for like your average person. Add to that the mental load of social media. You guys thought we were just going to talk about the job market, college, or housing. Mm-mm. We got social media too. We need to talk about. Everyone's life looks perfect online: vacations, new cars, the hustle wins. But meanwhile, you're over here just trying to pay rent, figure out what to eat. We're over here eating our $10 bowl of Chipotle, trying to make by. Comparing yourself constantly makes life heavier. It's like you're always behind, even if your life's normal. It's just that comparison. It's killing people all the time. Let's see. Should we keep going? Should we keep going? Did you hear enough? Okay. What about healthcare, insurance, labor markets? These insurance companies are trying to screw you over. I have a perfect driving record. They continue to increase my premium for my car insurance. It's like, what are you raising my rate for? Health insurance keeps going up. It's insane. Have you seen, like, if you don't have insurance, how much it costs to get anything done in the US? It's like 10 times more expensive than anywhere else in the world. Everything costs more. It grows slower. It's unpredictable. It's just so bad. It's not even just financial. We're staring down climate issues, political instability, wars, and a world that feels like it's moving faster than we could keep up with. Older generations, they grew up in a world where gradual progress made sense. But for us, everything's instant, volatile, and draining. And I'm not saying that life is hopeless, it's far from it. But this is just our reality, and I think that everybody should be aware of it, Also ignoring it, acting like everything's okay, that's not going to help. The only way to survive and honestly thrive in this economy and market is to take control of what we can. Learning skills that give you leverage, building income streams that don't rely on anyone else, investing your money wisely even in small amounts. Time's on your side if you start now. And limit the comparisons. Social media isn't reality, it's very fake. Your growth is measured against your past self, not everyone else's highlight reel and what they're posting on their stories and the highlight of the week. And also focus on your health. Health is wealth. Your mindset, your relationship. It doesn't just have to be physical, mental health too. Go hit the gym, get active. It doesn't matter if you're a multimillionaire if you don't have health in place, because that's something money can't buy. Those are real assets that compound over time. So you kind of have to be hitting everything. You don't want to be the guy that's maxed out 10 out of 10 in one thing, but then sucks at everything else. You kind of want to be across the board, hitting sevens, good relationships, good health, good money, good job, all that stuff, all combined together. On top of that, I think that, Gen Z has it hard, no question about it. But hardship also breeds opportunity, and that's something that we all need to recognize. Is we're growing up smarter about money. We're more aware of mental health. We're more willing to break the norms that older generations were stuck in. Like, hey, go to college, get a degree, etc. You see that not as many people are following that same path today because they recognize that if you follow this traditional proven method, it's not working for us. Times have changed, and you just gotta adapt. Life does feel harder for us, but it also means that when we figure it out, the rewards will be bigger. Freedom, independence, financial security, and peace of mind are all achievable, especially in America. America to this day continues to be the land of opportunity, but it's just gotten harder than it was in the past. We just have to navigate this world with awareness and discipline. That's all it comes down to. So, yeah. Life is rougher for Gen Z. It's confusing, expensive, and exhausting. That's how I would put it in 3 words. But the people who thrive are the ones who acknowledge it. So we all recognize that it's a problem. We need to adapt. We need to make changes. Tested theories back in the day, they don't work today, and we have to do something different about it. And ultimately, we just have to take action. We could sit here and complain, but at the end of the day, awareness and taking action is going to be so important. And that's just the reality, folks. Honestly, that's where your edge also comes from, is recognizing the problem and doing something about it instead of just sitting there and waiting for somebody to do it. Taking control of your own life, it's an extremely powerful and impactful thing. And again, Gen Z life, it's tough. It's tough. Acknowledge it. Let's make those changes. If you guys learned something from this video, if these types of videos interest you, make sure to subscribe. We have just so many videos here on Mind of G talking about different things, money, finance, personal development, dating, kind of everything to just help make your life easier and better. If that sounds interesting for you, give us a follow. And yeah, you guys, we're going to catch you on the next one.